Hey there, I am going to be talking to you today about labels. I've had a few people ask about what they need to do to clean up their nutrition or diet, or what to look for when they're buying foods and things like that. And I'm type 2 diabetic, and I was able to get off my meds this year, and that all has to do with cleaning up my diet, reading labels, and figuring out what were the best foods to fuel my body. And I'm also home today because I am feeling a little under the weather, so this is a perfect time to kind of demonstrate some different food products for you all on how to read labels. So we know grocery shopping can be really intimidating, and some people hate it. I absolutely love it because I know what I'm looking for in my food. It becomes a habit. It's just something you have to practice and, take food items out at home and look at it and get to know and familiar with the items. We struggle a lot with sugar. I mean, they say sugar is just as addicting, if not worse, than cocaine and heroin. That's how bad sugar is. And that's one of the main ingredients I look for in my products when I am reading labels. So I will be sharing here a few different food items and demonstrating how to read labels. I am by no way a dietitian, nutritionist, or anything. These are things I've just learned on my own. I've been taught by seeing dietitians when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And so I'm just passing along some helpful information that will hopefully help you and make it easier when you're out shopping or learning what food products you should look for. So most commonly, people always say eat yogurt because of the good bacteria in it, but be careful because there is a lot of sugar in some of those yogurts out there. First of all, I always look for Greek yogurt. I love Greek yogurt. I use it in everything from substitute for sour cream. I make ranch dressing. I use it for apple dip. Last night I used it for homemade chocolate pudding. So I love Greek yogurt. And the brand that I have found to have the most success with the less amount of sugar and carbohydrates in it, is Dannon's Oikos Greek non-fat yogurt. It's 0 fat, plain, and ta-da! So this is the yogurt that I recommend to anyone that is looking to clean up their diet. And the first things I look at on the back of any product is I don't even look at calories. I skip that because who cares? It doesn't matter how many calories. You could have soda, it has 0 calories, but soda's bad for you. We all know it's linked to so many health problems. So who cares about the calories? First thing I look at is how many ingredients in it. This one only has one ingredient right there, and it's a cultured grade A non-fat milk. Awesome! The less ingredients, the less processed. That's #1 rule. If it has hardly any ingredients in it, that is a great product to purchase. The less ingredients, the less processed. So always keep that in mind. So I look at them hey, great, it's got 1 ingredient. So let's look at the total fat. Total fats, fat is what your body can break down. It's sort of like carbohydrates. You need to fuel your body with good fat, but there's also bad fat. If you have bad fat, then it stores as fat, and that's where the obesity and all the other health problems come in. But good fat, it's almonds and nuts and pistachios, peanut butter, things like that. The good fat will actually help your body to break down and convert it to energy, so your body's able to use it because it's a natural product. It comes from the earth. So those are the differences. So we look at total fat on the ingredient. It's usually the first ingredient at the top here. I'm sorry, I am still getting used to this. So it says 0 right there. Awesome. And we see it does have 120 calories, but oh well, it has 120 calories. Not a big deal, I guess. And the other thing too is the serving size is 1 cup. So 1 cup is equivalent to everything you see on this label that's sharing with you. So we have the 1 cup. And then we have 120 calories. I'm sorry if I'm moving this around. I'm trying to get it to focus and figure out where my camera is. And then total fat is 0. And then as we move down, we're going to see the total carbohydrates. I usually don't worry too much about cholesterol, sodium, or potassium. For anyone that is washing out in their sodium, I don't remember what the recommended servings of sodium it was a day, so I'm not sure, but if you are watching your sodium, it'd be something to check out or even ask your doctor. And total carbohydrates, so that is at a 9, that's 9 grams. And then we go down, I look at sugars, that's 9 grams. Okay, and then after that, it's protein. 22 grams of protein, awesome. So those are the things I look for in labels. Total fat, total carbs, sugar, and protein. All right, so I touched a little bit on the fat. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the total carbohydrates. Total carbohydrates is a form of sugar, is basically what I learned about it. It's how your body breaks the carbohydrate down. Carbohydrates are what fuel your body and what gives you the energy. But having too much carbohydrates or having too much of processed carbohydrates becomes stored as fat. Same as going to the beginning when we're talking about healthy fats versus bad fats. If it's too processed and too heavily coated with stuff, your body's gonna convert it into fat and you're gonna have some health problems. So carbohydrates I look at as another form of sugar because your body breaks it down like that into a form of sugar so your body can absorb it and use it as energy or again store it as fat. So on the back of this it said it had 9 grams. Hey, that's not bad. So then we go down to sugar. Okay, so sugar, pure form of sugar, 9 grams. So I technically look at carbohydrates as another sugar, so therefore this has 18 grams of sugar per 1 cup. So that's not terrible. It's not the best, but it's the best Greek yogurt I find out there with the littlest amount of carbs and sugar. But the best thing about this is it has 22 grams of protein. That's awesome. Some of my protein bars, like my Quest bars, are like 21 grams, 20 grams. And that's a bar. And it has a little heavy on the carbs. So this is a great substitution for a snack, for replacements in foods. I love this stuff. I use it all the time. I probably go through a container a week on using it and stuff, but I love it. I mean, it's so versatile on so many different foods. But 22 grams of protein, that's awesome. It's what keeps you full. Protein is what's going to keep you full. It's what's going to get you through the day. It's what's going to help to keep your metabolism going. So the higher the protein content, the more full you're going to feel throughout the day. So always remember that as well. So that's kind of how I read labels. And this is pretty simple and basic. It has 1 ingredient, 120 calories per 1 cup, and within that 1 cup you get the 0 fat, 9 grams of carbs, 9 grams of sugar, and 22 grams of protein. So this is a great snack alternative food item. Love it. Go buy it. I recommend it. Use it. Okay. So my next question I get from people is, well, I don't want to cut out all my breads. I don't want to cut out, all my starch. And for me, it took me a while. I don't really use a lot of carbohydrates in my foods anymore. I don't eat a lot of breads and pastas. I've cut out a lot of that just because it spikes my blood sugar. And it's not that I can't eat it, I just choose not to. And if I do eat it, it has to be 100% whole wheat. And that goes right back to the ingredients. So one of my things that I use, especially for sandwiches or paninis, or if you just need like that craving of bread, I use these Slender rounds here that I just get at my local grocery store. They're Village Hearth. They're 100 calories, a little Slender thing. And it says whole wheat on it. And you have to be careful with the whole wheat though. So a lot of products are deceiving and they say whole wheat, but in reality they're not. That's where you have to go and flip it around and read the back of the label. Some of the whole wheat products will say bleached whole wheat or partial whole wheat. And then they have all this long list of ingredients that follow after it that's like loaded with sugar and names I can't even pronounce. So doing just some quick reading on labels, this was the best one that I could find that had the least amount of ingredients in it. And it holds true to its title. It's whole wheat. So we'll go back on here to this awesome label. Okay. And might not be able to, I don't know if this reads very well here. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. So, serving size is 1 roll. 1 roll has 100 calories. Total fat 1 gram. Total carbohydrates is 22 grams. There's only 2 grams of sugar and 4 grams of protein. So, not too bad so far. The 22 grams of carbohydrates is what I like to keep it almost per meal. I allow myself, if I do have carbohydrates in a meal, I try to keep it at least under 32 grams per meal. And as you can see, there's not a ton of ingredients in here, and most of them I can read. It's whole wheat flour, water, oat fiber, yeast, brown sugar, honey, wheat gluten. Then you got some oils in there. We have some monodiglycerides, salt. We have this sort of gum, calcium. It's like a mold inhibitor, it says on there. And there's some caramel color in there. So, I mean, this isn't horrible, but again, the less ingredients, the less processed. And I was reading one of Jillian Michaels' books in her Get Slim for Life book, and she says that the first 5 ingredients that you see in a product is the most that will be in that product. So the first 5 ingredients in here are whole wheat flour, water, oat fiber, yeast, and brown sugar. So those 5 ingredients are the most common ingredients you'll find in that one roll. So that's not terrible. I mean, yeah, we do have added extra sugar in there with the brown sugar and honey. But again, those are natural products. They come from the earth. So if you think of things that come from the earth, those are things your body can break down and process into energy versus fat, unlike processed honey or things made in factories. I mean, our bodies cannot easily break them down. And your body doesn't know what to do with it, so it just stores it as fat because it can't break it down easily. So that's where that comes into play, and that's why I just want to make sure the less processed. I can't stress enough the less processed food. Your life will change so drastically. So that's in if you ever need, and this is what it looks like. Just a round. I use it sometimes for sandwiches, paninis, hamburgers, things like that. So, one product that I've cut out my diet completely. Any guesses on that? It is cereal. Cereal is loaded with processed crap and processed sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar. I was craving one day, this was a long time ago, I really wanted cereal. And I looked at one of them, I said, oh, this isn't terrible. Poured a bowl, I think it was like a cup. And I tested my blood sugar levels. The higher the number, the more out of control your blood sugar is, or like you're having a spike. And you want to keep it below 300, and you want to keep it above like 55. And it was at the high 200s. That's how bad cereal spikes my blood. So after that, I've just stopped. It's not worth it. It gave me a crash. I didn't feel good on it. It just wasn't, it's not good. And if we compare this to the Greek yogurt for snack, by all means, go for the Greek yogurt versus this crap. You can load this with berries, oatmeal, granola, honey, cinnamon. I mean, get creative with this stuff. I mean, you can do so much more stuff with this than you can with this. Ew, this is bad. So, I'm just going to read this to you guys because it's going to be too hard to show it to the camera. But we have 1 cup, and calories, that's 120 calories, and they give you an option if you use regular like milk, or they have half a cup with skim milk. So if you add a skim milk to this, it'd be 160 calories per 1 cup. Mind you, this 1 cup is 120 calories, and it provides you 22 grams of protein. So, we'll keep the milk in here, because I don't know a lot of people that eat cereal by plain. I mean, I have a few friends that do, but a lot of people add some sort of substance, liquid substance. So, we're going to go down. Total fat, 2 grams. Okay. Total carbohydrates, 25 grams. That's even more than the bread I showed you. And sugars, 12 grams of sugar. That's a lot. If you think about that, you put the 25 grams of carbohydrates and 12 grams of sugar, that's your total sugar combined that your body's trying to break down and use as energy. And protein, 2 grams. 2 grams of protein. That's all in 1 cup. 1 cup! Versus this, 1 cup, 120 calories, no fat, 9 grams of carbs, 9 grams of sugar, 22 grams of protein. This is the winner. Ding, 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 all the way. Not to mention it only has the 1 ingredient in here. So that's just for 1 cup. And now we're going to go to ingredients. I will try to show you the ingredients. But look at that list of ingredients. Look at all that. Like, there's something regimented, yellow cornmeal, sugar, cinnamon, topping. I mean, look at all that sugar. Look at all the sugar names in there. Sugar, fructose, dextrose, cinnamon, spice. Ugh, I mean, Google Google sugar names. Sorry about that, it cut me out, but I did say Google sugar names. It's amazing how many names of sugar they have. I think there's over 30, 50 names for sugar. They probably make a new name every day, actually. But those are just things to think about when you're buying your products, when you're buying out there with food items. It can be overwhelming, but once you start doing it and get the hang of it, it gets to be a lot easier. Just gotta keep at it one day at a time. Sorry, my TV's on. It's on the, I think it's on the Food Network actually. But just practice at home. You know, start reading labels. And this is just for me because I'm type 2 diabetic, and those are things I was taught, and it definitely helps with weight loss too. If that's what you're trying to do, is cut those things out, cut sugar out, cut breads out. Those are the huge things that you're going to start noticing right away. If you're a soda drinker, cut out soda. As they say, incorporate more greens, incorporate more fruits, but you can't overdo it with fruits either because they also have sugar in it, but it's a natural sugar. Your body can actually break that down and process it. You know, same thing with honey. You know, it is a natural sweetener, so your body's able to process, break it down, and convert it into energy versus store it as fat. Whereas you get like the Splenda packets, your body's going to have a really hard time breaking it down because it was made in a plant. It was made in a factory, so it's all processed, and it takes... Your body has struggles really breaking it down, and so the process of that, it doesn't know where to put it either because it's an unknown sweetener that your body's trying to figure out what to do with it, and then it gets stored as fat, and so you're just better off thinking of things that you would find out on this planet. You know, think of hunter-gatherer. If you can hunt it, you can eat it, basically. If you can find it, berry, if you can eat it, you know, bees. I mean, just those are other things just to keep in mind when you're out grocery shopping. And the other thing too when you're out there is do the far aisles against the wall before you go up and down the aisles in between. The aisles that go outside around of the grocery store is where you're going to find more fresh food and the more not processed food. Once you start going between the aisles, that's where it starts to get processed. So stay away from the aisles in between. Always shop there last. Do the outside with the cold foods first before you do the aisles. You'll be amazed at what you'll find. So yeah, that's my tidbit for there. If you have questions, comments, you know, let me know. I'll try to help you out and guide you in the way I can. All right, bye.